10 seconds.
I feel like I need to be close to.
And time. Go. 3, 2, 1, go. Not time. Opposite. Welcome.
Anna's in charge of hosting this one, and we're already off to a great start.
Love it. I'm proud. Welcome, everyone. We're here with 4 Time with Myriad. I am Anna.
Jared.
And we're going to talk a little bit today about goals and motivation and how to keep momentum going when you lose motivation. So, Jared.
Because it's the end of January?
It's like 2/3 of the way through January. Yeah.
Is that why you're motivated to have this conversation?
I mean, it's a good time to talk about it if you're someone who sets goals in January, but I don't think it's really ever a bad time to talk about motivation and goals. So, have you ever in your life had a goal that you were working towards that you were like super excited about at the beginning, and you worked really, really hard, and you were super on top of all of the things you said you were going to do, and then all of a sudden that motivation kind of fizzled out?
Yeah, I mean, I have a very today one.
Yeah.
In the sense
Tell
of
us about it.
January, I shared this with you. I had a secret goal to get 30 classes in January, and because I see everyone doing the 300 class club, and I was very motivated by that on the front end of the new year. And I did a 2-a-day. I think I did 2 or 3 2-a-days, and I was like, I can do this. And then life happened, and my own motivation happened. That's got peaks and valleys. And now I'm way off in order to make 30 days. And so now that motivation is long gone. And so that goal is probably not going to happen. And I'm okay with that because I'm still doing more than what I was doing in a sense of getting into class. So it's been really exciting.
Oh my gosh, Jared, what a great lead-in. I think that is one of the biggest things that I encourage people to think about in terms of if you start slipping towards your goals. It can be really easy to feel like, I'm not on pace to hit my 30 classes in the month of January, and all of a sudden you give up completely, and from January 20th to January 31st, you attend no classes. But recognizing, okay, maybe I'm not on pace, but I have done 10 classes. That's still something, and maybe I don't hit 30, but maybe I hit 22, and that's still a really cool accomplishment. And I think something that people forget about in goals is it's way more about the journey than the destination. So I'm going to ask you a question. Why did you want to hit 30 classes? What was your why?
My why was because I saw other people doing it, and I know the 300 class club, Yolanda hit 400 plus classes. I was like, wow, this is super cool. Also, to be perfectly honest, my why was my fitness has kind of gone down the drain the last couple of years, focusing on family, 2 young kids, focusing on the business, the transitions. And so I was trying to get, jumpstart my own fitness to get back to not the level I used to be, but, more fit and just feeling a little bit more generally physically prepared for anything in life.
Yeah.
And so that was my goal of getting in here more often. So then people and coaches could hold me accountable versus me just trying to do my own fitness on my own. And that's where I've been losing it.
Yeah. I hear that. One thing I heard in you saying it was a secret goal. People can't help you as much when it's a secret, but I'll put that to the side.
Well, you know me, I have 1,000 goals.
Yeah.
So that was just
you are a big goal guy.
That was one of the ones I was just tucked in there that I thought maybe I could do, but it's all
right. Well, okay, so even though you're not on pace to hit 30 classes, would you still say that you are prioritizing your health and fitness more?
100%.
Okay.
And a lot of it is, now that I had that 30 class goal, now when I have this, sometimes it just actually happened yesterday where I'm like, well, I could just go for a walk with a dog, or I can drive and go to move class and be around people, be surrounded by people, have good conversation, get a really good workout because I'm in a class. And I chose the class version because I knew that I'm still trying to get as many classes as I possibly can right now. So because I have that goal, I'm still going in that direction, which has been awesome. Today's perfect example. I want to do work, but I also really want to do Fran, so I'm going to the noon class no matter what.
We're getting it in. So I think that's another side of the motivation conversation is having a really strong why and revisiting that even when motivation is dipping a little bit, I think is really helpful. So being able to say my why is that I want to be someone who is prioritizing my health and fitness again, or my why is like I need that social connection when I'm working out. That can help you to remember to keep coming back when that initial kind of motivation is worn off.
Yeah, totally agree.
Would you say that that's been helping and happening for you a bit?
Absolutely. I mean, to everything we just talked about, like that's you nailed it.
Good.
Summed it up well.
Well, I love that. I think it's just also helpful to plan for dips in motivation. Most of the time when we are making goals, we, again, have a lot of energy when you're getting started, whether it's the start of a new month or, the start of a journey to running a marathon. We have a lot of energy at the beginning, and it's hard to anticipate that eventually that energy will wear off, but it does. And I think planning for that, saying like, okay, when my motivation is dipping, here's like a plan that I have in place, whether that is...
I was going to ask. I think this is the biggest point of this conversation is like, what is your plan, or what are plans that you give potential clients who have that dip and you need to reignite them, they want to be reignited. Yeah. What do we do?
So that's when you start to talk to other people, rely on your network. So Jared shared the 30 class goal with me after he had started to fall off. But now that I know, I can be someone who's like, hey, when are you taking class this week? Do you want to take class with me? Using your network around you, your people around you, is a great way to give yourself a little motivation from others when you don't have it yourself. It's super cliche, but like anytime you hear an athlete who's achieved something, they tend to acknowledge their team and all the support around them, because you know that those athletes have their days where it's really hard, where they're struggling, where they don't want to go to the gym or the field or whatever their sport is. And the people around them are the ones that help hold them accountable in those tougher moments. And we can do the same as mere mortals, using our system around us to help bolster our motivation when we are struggling. So that's one way. And then I think also going back to the why, behind your goal, I think is another way when motivation is dipping. So in terms of using that, you might write down on a sticky note, I am someone who prioritizes my own fitness, and put it on your laptop. And then every day when you're working, you see that sticky note, you're like, you know what? I can take a break right now and I can go take a class, and find those little ways to kind of like trick your brain into being motivated, and hopefully the action follows, if that makes sense.
Totally.
So those are a couple of like tips and tricks and tools.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think just planning for it, and also not being so hard on yourself when it happens. Yeah. No one is going to maintain motivation 100% of the way through any endeavor. If you do, let me know, and I would love to hear your secrets. But I think also just not being too hard on yourself, and knowing that those dips are going to happen, and sometimes that may mean we fall off, but we can always find something to spark that motivation again, and it'll come in like a little cycle and wave.
Yeah, and the one thing I'll add, we talked about a little bit earlier, is like, with the big hairy goal concept, right? You have like good, better, best. If you're shooting for a best case scenario goal, which for me was 30 classes, like you're gonna hit other milestones on that journey as you get there. A good example is like, oh, I want to run my first marathon. Well, like maybe during the training of that first marathon, you don't actually run it, or you get hurt doing it, so you don't accomplish it. But maybe during that training, you ran a 10-mile route or 10-mile continuous. Then also during the training, you ran a 15 and another long run. Like maybe you got to 20 miles. So now you just hit a 10-mile goal, 15-mile goal, 20-mile goal. So like you're hitting goals on the way to the bigger goal. And I think it's the biggest thing I have with clients, in a sense of motivation of just like, what did you do? What did you achieve from A to Z? Because then you got B to Y, in order to get to all those things, right? There's a lot happening in between, and that's the biggest thing when it comes to goals and motivation within goals. So yeah, I just want to kind of throw that out there as another. That's how I trick my brain most often. Quick anecdote: I tried to run a sub 5 minute mile 3 years ago. Hired Anna to be my coach for that. did a phenomenal job. We were training a lot. I had lots of peaks and valleys, some injuries throughout. Went to do the test, and I hit, I think 5:16 was my fastest. And like, I'm mad at myself because I never actually hit the goal. I still want to hit that goal, but I'm also okay with that because I ran a 5:16 mile at the age of 38.
Very
and
fast.
I know we're at time, but so now I know I can potentially do it and work towards it even further. But I now know how much more work it's going to take to get there. So I'm not 100% sure if that's a life goal of mine, but we'll see how that goes over time. So
yeah, I think you're hit the nail on the head there. Like, celebrate the little wins along the way, and yeah. Well,
awesome.
3, 2, 1, time. Beep.